everybody. Hi guys, I'm here with my son. His name is Kason.
AKA Checha.
That's his nickname. Given to him by his little brother. He couldn't say Kason, so he would say Checha. Today we're going to talk about the Sonic movie.
Sonic!
We saw it on opening day, and for being a video game movie, it does a lot of things right. What do you think, Kason?
I think it was pretty good. It was funny. I liked it a lot.
Overall, it's just a pretty good movie. I do suggest you guys go watch it with your kids. You'll have a great time. You enjoy it. There's a lot to talk about, so we'll get started. Now, there's a few things that they got right. One of them being the design of the character. Now, we all know what happened, right? Kason, what happened when they first originally came out? What happened?
Oh, that gives me nightmares.
Right? It was creepy. It was ugly. The design was all over the place. They tried to put muscles on Sonic. Sonic does not have muscles. He's a cartoon. The original design that they had for this movie did see him with muscles, and it just came off as creepy. The design was really bad. We didn't like it. We talked about how ugly he looked, but now we're going to talk about how good he looked. Sonic looked almost, if not identical to this. He's always had this weird design where his pupils are in the same eye hole, which I always thought that was really weird, but it worked for the cartoon. I think in a live action film that would not totally work, so I actually liked what they did, and they kind of just blended his nose a little bit higher, and this patch in the movie is actually tan, right?
So it's like a piece like white of fur, like white fur.
Actually now it works because now it's actually 2 eyes instead of 1. I'm glad that they went with that design because it makes more sense, and it still looks really similar to the original design. They kept his gloves.
The old design, it was like real claws.
Yes, it was gross. They gave him his booties, which is cool, and he has his signature belly in the movie as well. It's also fur, so it looks a little different than this, but
it's still the same color.
It's still there, and it's still the same color like
Kason's. It looks better.
Yes, definitely better. Now, I did notice that the CGI at times looked a little choppy. It's nothing that would take you out of the movie, but it is something that if you pay attention, you'll be able to catch. Big props go to the designers, and not only for listening to us, but to making them look pretty good. So we thank them for that. Ben Schwartz, which I think is the actor who plays Sonic, his energy matches Sonic's speed. And I think that's a plus. You need somebody who's gonna mimic Sonic's speed, and he does it really well. What do you think, Kason, about his voice?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good for Sonic. Like somebody that's a little energetic. It's perfect for this.
The other big thing about this movie is the return of Jim Carrey to his roots. Growing up in the 90s like I did, Jim Carrey was a comic genius, and this movie proves that he still is. So what did you think about Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik?
He was funny. He was good. I really liked him a lot in the movie as Eggman or Robotnik.
Have you ever seen him in any other movies that you can remember?
I remember watching The Mask. Yeah, that's like one of the only movies that I can remember that he's in.
Do you think he acted similar?
Just like a little bit.
Yeah?
Not that much.
But it was good, right?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I would give it a thumbs up.
Jim Carrey does his classic routine, and it was just on point. It kind of goes with Dr. Eggman in the cartoon. He is a little eccentric, and he is a little off the rails. This is a different take on him. I think Jim Carrey just plays to that character really well. So I was really pleased with his performance. What about you, Kason? What would you give him out of 10 his performance?
I would give him like an 8.
An 8?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I would probably give him an 8 as well. But overall, I would say, other than Sonic, to me, would be the second best thing of the movie. Kason, what about you?
Yes.
And it was refreshing to see him do that again. So,
alrighty then.
There you go, see? Another thing that we're going to talk about, the attention to details. There's a lot of things in this movie that you would not be able to catch maybe on your first viewing. Callbacks to not only the games, but to the cartoons. We really appreciated that. I mean, as a fan of games, comic books, and all of that, we appreciate it when the directors, the creators, give that to us. What kind of Easter eggs can you remember, Kason, that came out in the movie? Can you name a few off the top of your head?
Yeah, where Sonic was in his little man cave, he had the little
Hedgehog cave?
Maybe Hedgehog cave, yeah. Well, he had the little headband, and it had the little logo from Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 and some of the other games on his forehead.
What else? Any other Easter eggs that you might remember?
Yes, when you could see the car, like when Donut Lord is talking to a donut, at one point you could see there's this big sign that says Green Hills, and obviously that's stage 1 in the game 1, Green Hill Zone. And also when Sonic is playing baseball, he also wears a hat that says GH, also stands for Green Hill Zone.
That's a good one. The one that I really liked, that they have the bridges that collapse after he runs through them. That was, to me, one of the best ones, because I was thinking, I remember doing that in the video game, and that happened in the part where he was at his home planet, so I thought that was really cool. You could tell the directors and the creators really took their time and put in all the details that they could possibly think of, and I'm pretty sure, and if there is a sequel, which I think there will be, they'll probably do a lot more of that. Although the story wasn't as great as I think it could have been, it's just a really good video game film. It's showing that with the records that it's breaking. Biggest video game opening ever, I believe it already has under its belt. And it's for good reason, because they paid attention to the fans. We appreciate, right, Kason, that they actually listened to us, and I think it paid off, right?
Yep.
What was your favorite part of the story?
My favorite part of the story is that his friend, Sonic's friend, I don't really know his name.
Donut Lord?
Yeah, Donut Lord. His friend Donut Lord had to help him get his rings, or else he couldn't stay home, or get away from the people that wanted to dissect him. And Sonic realized that he actually wanted to stay there.
I'm just amazed that Sonic, after being on Earth for so long, never actually reached out to somebody and just began a conversation. I don't see how he was able to refrain from talking to anybody. I mean, he seems like he's a chatterbox. I'd figure that he would talk to turtles and talks to animals and all that, but they don't talk back. Can you name the characters in the movie case? I think if they were more important, I think they would remember the names a bit better. Another thing I forgot to mention is the world building. They set it up in a way where, you know, it's believable. It's not something that was forced, and the creators took their time to make sure they were building a good world for Sonic, and it just seems like it worked. I believe that they're gonna be doing a lot more things with the world that they built. We're excited for that. Now we're gonna be talking about some cons. Actually, there's not that many. There's always gonna be something that doesn't really feel right, maybe not 100%. And this is the first movie, so hopefully they could perfect it by the second time. Like I had mentioned earlier, the story is not great, and I think in a Sonic movie, it could be more memorable. We were talking about this review yesterday, and we were having trouble remembering. We've only seen it once so far, but even important things we couldn't remember because it's not as important as it should be. It could be a lot better. What do you think about the story?
The main thing that I remember of the story, like I said, that Donut Lord tried to help him find his rings. He had to escape the people that had to dissect him.
What about Eggman? What was he trying to do through the movie?
He was trying to dissect Sonic.
Dissect them? Yeah. That's gross. The movie just pretty much follows how Sonic is pretty much lonely, and then eventually he's trying to fill that void, but at the same time he can't reach out to anybody because he's afraid that they might dissect him. And somewhere along that line he finds what he's looking for, and it becomes a heartwarming movie. It has a lot of heart. The acting in this movie is okay. James Marsden, I always liked his acting. But in this movie, he was fine. He wasn't great. He had some moments, and then also there was times where I didn't really feel he was connecting with other characters. He didn't take away from the movie. His wife was good. Their relationship kind of seemed forced. It could be because we didn't spend too much time with them. The relationship between her and her sister and her husband is kind of funny. Eggman taking over pretty much the military was kind of funny. In the movie, they made him seem like he owned the military, which is funny. Overall, the characters are not fleshed out. They could dive deeper into Sonic's relationships with other characters. Who would you want to see more of?
Maybe a Donut Lord. Like, maybe he could punch Eggman in the face again.
And the one character I would want to see Sonic build more of a relationship with is the dog.
Ozzy.
It could have been Ozzy. I'm not 100% sure, but I like that because it kind of shows Sonic hating on him a bit, because he's like, oh, so you're his best friend. He doesn't shut up about this. You could tell that there's a little jealousy there, but then you could tell that Ozzy could probably win over Sonic eventually, and you see that a little bit when he licks his face, because he's like, that's very gross. I think that would be a relationship to explore, right? If Sonic and Ozzy were like friends. Another thing that I had a small problem with is that Eggman, I didn't really feel that there was that much of a threat behind him. He was just looking for Sonic to see what was going on. He did cause a massive blackout, so if I was a government official that knew that this creature caused a big massive blackout, I would want to find out if he's harmful or if he's dangerous potentially. So, I mean, he was just pretty much doing his job. I never really felt like he was a bad guy. He was working for the government throughout the whole movie, and eventually he was tasked with going after Sonic to find him and study him. And along the way, you can see him turn evil. Once he knows that Sonic has all that power, he sees that he can use it on his robots, and he could power his robots with it.
Sonic's power is infinite,
which was super cool to realize that. I don't know if that's how it's in the games or in the cartoons, but I thought that was a nice nod. If he already has unlimited power, why would he need to turn supersonic? But that's how we really feel about the Sonic movie. Like I said, I do recommend it. It is a really good video game movie. It's not going to win no Oscars, but it is going to win over a lot of fans for Sonic.
But you never know, maybe he might win the Oscars. Could be a possibility.
But it could be a possibility. You never know, right? With that being said, what do you have to say before we leave, Kason, about the Sonic movie?
I would give it a 9.5 out of a 10.
Whoa, that's pretty high. I would probably give it an 8. I would want to see more of it in the future, of course. I want to see sequels. And if you haven't seen the movie, you should definitely stick around for the credits. They have an immediate credit scene. And then there's another mid-credit scene. There's nothing at the end, so you don't have to stay all the way to the end. The mid-credit scene is really good, right, Kason? So you guys want to stick around for that. It's going to be fun. And it sets up, of course, the sequel. I think this movie deserves it, so I think it's going to be worthwhile. So I wouldn't mind waiting about 2 years, 3 years max. But what about you, Kason? For another movie?
Maybe just 1 year. I had no idea.
I hope you guys liked our peace of mind on the movie. We hope that you take something away from this video, and hopefully you guys go watch the movie, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as we did, because we actually enjoyed it a lot. So with that being said, guys, we want to thank you once again for clicking on this video, for watching it through the end. And if you like this video, go ahead, like and subscribe, and we're going to be trying to put more content for you guys to watch, and hopefully we could entertain you guys. I have been Omar, also known as VenOmar, and this is Kason, also known as Checha or Chechita. And with that being said, thank you for watching. See you later.
Alrighty then.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Stay healthy. Bye. Bye-bye.